Hello YouTube, it's Catherine. I'm here today to do reviews on all the books that I've read so far this month, which is September up to 22nd. The first book I read this month was Jhanmar World Travellers by Elke Schuster. This is the fourth part of the Arash series. This series follows a girl called Olivia who becomes an Arash, which is an immortal being. In this one she actually finds out that she's also a world traveller, which means that she can travel between worlds, i.e. the real world, different times in the real world, and also between the real world and the dream world. Elke's writing in this book was as good as in any of the others, which is why I gave it a 5-star rating, and I absolutely loved it. All her descriptions of things that were happening were done in such a way that it made you really feel like you were part of the story, and also the description of the interactions between the characters and also of little characteristics of the characters made you feel that you were actually one of them. So all in all, this was a fantastic book, and it's a fantastic series also, which I would advise anybody who is interested in time travel or travel of any description between worlds and things like that to read. The next book I read was the Viscount's Christmas Temptation by Ridley. This is the first book in the Dukes of War series, which I actually got from NetGalley, so thank you very much, NetGalley. It was a lovely book. Basically it was the story of a mature lady who's still single, who is part of the society. She's a lady, and Lady Ravenwood, and she finds out that the big event, Christmas event of the year, which is held by a gentleman, is not being held this year because the ballroom's burnt down. So she decides to take it upon herself to plan and execute it elsewhere, which happens, and it goes off extremely successfully, and ends up that her and the Earl get married. Erica's writing is fabulous. The descriptions of the scenes and things are just so well written that it made me feel like I was a member of the story. And how the way she describes dresses and clothing makes you feel like you can actually feel the material in your hands. I love this book. It didn't take me very long to read it at all, and immediately I went on to the next book in the series, which is the Earl's Defiant Wallflower. This book follows a 20-year-old American girl who's come over to the UK to find a husband, because her mother is seriously ill, and they haven't got a lot of money in America. She meets the Earl, and they fall in love and get married. Well, yes, they get married, but it's kind of a twist, really, because of the society of the time. They're caught together in a compromising position at a party, so therefore they have to get married. Again, this was a beautiful story, and the characters were just so believable that you were sucked in. I couldn't put it down. I read it really quickly, and as soon as I'd finished it, I moved on straight on to the next book in the series. I gave the book 5-star rating because I would read it again. I will recommend it to others, and I would buy it as a gift for somebody else. And so far I'm generally loving the series, so I'm sure by the end of the series I will undoubtedly be saying I would read the entire series all over again. The next book that I read was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas, the first book in the Throne of Glass series, which I absolutely loved. This is the story of Selena Sadothian, who is an assassin, or was an assassin, but she was caught on one of her assassination attempts and tried and sentenced, and had been in a labour camp working in salt mines for 2 years, until the Crown Prince of Earl came to the salt mines to offer her an out, which meant that she had to be the King's champion in a competition to become the King's assassin. Then she'd serve as a King's assassin for 5 years and then be free to go back to her life. She took them up on this offer and took part in a competition and won. There was a kind of a love triangle that started to develop about halfway through the book between Selena, the Crown Prince, and Kyle, the head of the guards. But Selena put a stop to what was going on between her and the Crown Prince because she couldn't deal with it. Sarah's writing is spectacular. It gripped me. The way she describes events and characters, and the world building really made me feel that I was part of the book, and so meant that I couldn't put the book down. And when I finished it, I instantly went on and read the next book, which was the Crown of Midnight, which I am now currently reading and loving. The next book that I read was Tall, Tatted and Tempting, which is the first book in the Reed Brothers series by Tammy Falkner. I found out about this book from a fellow YouTuber who's also a booktuber, Katie Books. It's the story of Logan and Emily. Logan is one of five brothers, and they live in New York. Emily is the daughter of an entrepreneur, rich entrepreneur, who's run away from home because her father decided that it was time for her to get married, and she didn't like the person he'd chosen. This is a fabulous book, and I love the fact that each chapter was telling a part of the story from the point of view of that particular person. And it was like this through the entire book, which made it even more lovely to read, because actually hearing things from each of their point of views brought you into the book even more. Tammy's writing style is fantastic. The way she described how the relationship developed between them, and what the apartment was like that the boys lived in, was amazing. And again, I felt like I was really part of the book, and because of that, flew through the book. And as soon as I'd finished the book, I then went on to read the next one in the series, which is the next part of follow on of their story, Emily and Logan's story, and is called Calmly Smart, Sexy and Secretive. And it was lovely. This was also a dual perspective book, and it was the development of their further development of their love story. At the end of the first book, Emily had to go back home because she'd contacted her father to ask him to pay for Logan's brother Matt's cancer treatment, and part of the arrangement of him doing that was that she would go home, which she did. She spent 3 months back at home and then returned, and and the development of the love story between further development of the love story between them was captivating, and it was nice when he decided he was going to ask Emily and went and spoke to her father, but her father turned him down. But then towards the end of the book, decided that he could, gave him his permission, but also then asked him if he could offered him an internship with the company in the advertising department, and also asked him to design a tattoo for him, which was lovely. Gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and can't wait to read the next one, and I'm sure I'm going to love the entire series. I know I will reread this entire series eventually, once I've finished reading it, and I'm sure that when I do the review for the entire series, I will give it, the entire series, a 5-star rating, because I can't imagine any of the other books will be lacking with regards to story and description and everything. Anyway, that's that. I will be doing another review session in the next few weeks, which obviously will include my books for the beginning of October as well. So that's that. Okay, see you again soon. Bye.